Welcome to the turntable with Cheeky, Ari Styles, and D Money on Active FM, where radio has never been better.
This is Ari Styles, and this is the turntable where we keep you learned and get you done.
We must in a third voice where he says, play you the facts, and giving you the facts. He's here with us in spirit. So, Ari, what we doing today?
So what we're doing today basically is, you know the term amnesia?
Mm-hmm. I have it a few times
You
after
have-
a heavy
you-
night.
Okay.
When you have but too much fun,
Yeah.
the next day you have amnesia. Sometimes you want amnesia.
Okay. So being a teacher, our school teacher, give us a background of what is the meaning of amnesia.
Amnesia is a loss of memory, sometimes short term, sometimes long term, sometimes temporary.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So today the reason
Can happen from a head injury or
Yeah.
trauma.
Yeah. The reason why I asked it because today we're gonna do rappers that you forgot about.
That you may have.
You may have forgot about.
Okay, but we need to establish some metrics though first, right? Because we were speaking about this when we were preparing the show. If we look at the rapper that wasn't really that well known, or artist for that matter, any artist. So you can't say people have forgot about him if people didn't really know about him. This artist might have like cult followings or core fan base that still support them. So in that instance, you can't really say a rapper that you forgot about. If it was someone that was a one-hit wonder, I don't know if they would really fall in that category as well. So I just want to establish my metrics for it. Yours may be different.
I would say yes. There is one hit wonders, but they are rappers. They are rappers. They do have one or two, maybe 3 albums. Right?
Yeah, but they could have had albums, but they maybe only had commercial success with it.
Yeah,
One
and
hit,
then
so
they went
if
indie.
they weren't really known, how would you
So-
forget
yeah,
about
so-
them?
yeah,
That's what
some-
I'm saying. Now, those artists might have
Yeah.
core fan bases that people still know about them. We're talking about the general public.
Yeah, but some of them reason being the names that I mentioned. I think in the week when we were discussing, they were signed to a major label, but what happened is they
weren't able to reproduce another hit.
not going to reproduce another hit. They either fell off somewhere, and they went indie, meaning they didn't have that mass appeal is, well, like they always say, they didn't have the machine behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now I'm just establishing my metrics for it. That's who you got on your
Me,
list.
I got, first and foremost, I got Baba Sparks.
See, again, for me, I personally wouldn't have put him there because I don't think he was that well known. Now there were records of his that people knew, but him as an individual, I wouldn't really put him there.
Yeah, so I think I made a joke about this.
Probably.
I made a joke about it. I said Dre found Eminem
Oh yeah,
as
yeah,
a
yeah,
white
yeah,
rapper,
yeah.
as a white rapper, and he found it successful. The Timberland said, "Hey, let me follow the stereotype and let us try." And then they found Baba Sparks, came up with an album, and then yeah. So on Baba Sparks, right? He started hitting the scene in 2001. He stuck. The reason why he stuck out because of how much he embraced his country, and his Georgia bred roots, right? You can see, like I said, he caught attention with he caught attention of Timberland, and then he dropped his debut album Dark Days, Bright Nights. We know that song, Ugly. You know that song?
Probably.
Yeah,
Because I knew a few records from him. I just can't
it's
think
Ugly.
about it right now.
And then he had another hit, so he wasn't really a one hit wonder. He did Ugly, and he did that other song Lovely.
And I heard a few joints. I remember
and
him
then-
having a few joints. I
and
remember
then-
Timberland was on fire at that
yeah,
point in time. He
and
wasn't
then-
missing.
Yeah, and then in 2005, he collabed a song with the Ying Yang Twins, Miss New Booty. Yeah, I think you know that one even.
Ying Yang Twins had some
Right.
joints also.
But after that, his so-called career started slowing down. And in 2013, he dropped another album called Pain Management. Like I said, he's been through different record deals, and then issues with the sales of his standout second album, Deliverance, and deals with music labels that probably pulled him away, and that's what affected his
situation.
Yeah. So right. Next one I have.
Mm-hmm.
Right. M signed him. Right.
Who's it?
Obitres.
See, now that I can agree with that one.
Huh?
That one I can agree with. He had a few joints, his album went platinum, he was known because at that point in time, everyone moving with Shady was out of here.
Yeah.
So I can agree with it. There was a hit on the album. I remember the Teeth video.
Yeah, got some teeth. The setup.
The album was platinum. He was on a whole lot of those records, and then
he had two albums on under Shady. The first one was called Cheers, and that's where you got
some teeth, and there
got
was
some
a few
teeth.
other joints on
It
there.
got some teeth, and the setup. That's a brilliant song. The setup for Nate Dogg.
Yeah, and he was on Go to Sleep with him as well.
Yeah,
it was a big record for the
mixtape.
soundtrack. What movie was DMX in? The Cradle to the Grave.
Cradle to the Grave, yeah, and that infamous, the famous.
He's on a few dust records.
Dust tracks on that 24-track mixtape against Charo. Yeah, then in 2003 he released Cheers. It just so happened in 2003, 50
came out, and
he was signed first, but because of 50's
success,
momentum after Wangster, and that's why they dropped
Get Rich or Die Trying.
Get Rich or Die Trying first, and then later in the year they dropped Cheers.
But that album did well as well.
Yeah, and then in 2006, he created his second album with Under Shady was Second Rounds on Me, right? In 2000, that second
was
album.
probably on the Shady Re-Up album as well.
On the Shady Re-Up, because it was before, that was just about before he left in 2008, so yeah, that's just about before when he did the Re-Up, but he's also from Detroit. In 2000, then somehow, he also got shot in the head, I think in 2000, around over time 2008. I can be mistaken, but yeah. And then in 2020, he left Shady Records in 2008, and then he didn't drop another album until 2012, and the album was called Bottoms Up. Alright, he kept releasing music, but basically he was underground.
Yeah, you see, that is one of the things I should have established when we say in the Matrix. You see, some of these artists go underground and they establish a fan base in that environment. Doesn't mean they actually fell off. We say forgot about, we're talking about the general public or commercial standpoint or from a radio audience, that type of thing. So we're not saying these artists are completely forgotten about or fell off. We're just saying that to certain audiences they might seem like they know more around.
Yeah. And also in 2009, why also I think also he earlier 2009 he basically shot his girlfriend's son. I don't know.
I heard about it. Yeah. But I think he got off of that situation.
Yeah.
It was a self-defense thing or something.
Yeah. Then let's go next. The next one, which is Chingy.
Chingy makes sense.
Right. So here we have Chingy. Chingy comes up
under Nelly.
Under Ludacris.
Before Ludacris, he was under Nelly. Because they're from the same place. Chingy had some joints with Nelly, but he didn't sign the deal with Nelly, he signed to Luda. And that's when him and Nelly started beefing. But remember, at this point in time, Nelly's a big one. This is
2000. It's 2002.
Yeah, so it's pre-50. Nelly's the biggest thing shaking. 2 diamond albums. Hit after hit after hit.
Yeah.
Chingy came up under him, they're from the same area, and then he signed to Luda. But Chingy had some joints out with Luda as well.
Yeah.
And Luda was smoking it that.
Yeah. He was under he had his label TTP. So yeah, Chingy basically with his debut album, we know the songs Right There.
There was a few joints.
Right There, Holiday Inn.
Yeah, there we go.
One Call Away.
And then didn't he have something with Tyrese a few years later?
Every time
came up to leave something, keeps pulling me back.
That
one day.
Yeah.
That was a joint also.
That was not on that album.
Yeah, and I'm saying that's why I said later.
Yeah. he has that album with under Ludacris. He was supposed, if he had to stay under Luda, I think he was gonna have major success. But what happened?
Not necessarily, because
No.
DTP didn't really put out. Look at what happened with 2 Chainz.
Yeah.
2 Chainz was with Luda as well.
Yeah, but 2 Chainz had a different name back then.
TT Boy, and which is a ridiculous name. Just like to put that out there. He had some joints, but then it never worked under DTP. Then he had to go reinvent himself and come out as 2 Chainz.
Yeah, but like I say, no. But Chingy at that time, if he had to just remain, maybe 1 or 2 more years, maybe a second album, third album, second album, maybe.
Yeah.
Under
Because Luda was.
because Luda was killing it and their marketing strategy.
And Luda and Nelly. But because he was first with Nelly.
Yeah.
But think about it. None of the Saint Lunatics blew.
Yeah.
But realistically, Chingy was his own artist. He wasn't a Saint Lunatic.
Yeah.
It's the same thing like you were speaking about Obi Trice, right? See, you had D12. That was at M. D12 as a group was successful.
Yeah.
But as solo acts, none of them really thrived, right?
Yeah.
Under Shady, for example. I'm
Yeah.
not necessarily speaking about their own careers as a whole.
Yeah.
But then you had Obi Trice, for example, who was a solo act that
Yeah.
came out and was able to establish himself and get a platinum album on his own
Yeah.
without like group members. So sometimes like being the crew with the rapper doesn't necessarily
mean
you're gonna blow.
Mean you're gonna blow. Yeah, but like I said, Chingy at that specific time when the album came out, I think he had too much people in his ears to say no, you need to move out. So he gets another deal. He leaves TTP, he leaves Luda, right? That's when the second album came out, and the second album didn't do as much as his first. And then after that, his career started fizzling.
Yeah, so Chingy I can agree with because he had some trance people knew he was.
Right?
Made a lot of Nelly type sounding music, pathetic rapper.
Okay.
Maybe top 10 worst.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna speak for Rockefeller, right? So we have to Memphis.
As a whole?
No, not as a whole. I'm saying Rockefeller. I'm coming why I'm saying Rockefeller, right?
Because there's a few of them.
Because yeah, it's Memphis Bleak and Penny Siegel. I'm naming both of them, right?
Speedy Crack as well, because Speedy Crack had
Right.
like 3 or 4
Yeah.
hits.
Okay.
People probably don't know the name, but if some of his music play, you'll know who he is.
Right. So with Memphis Bleak and Penny Siegel, right? There's a statement that Jay-Z made just before 50 coming in, stating that
About flood.
they need to
flood-
start
flood in
because you
the
must remember
industry, put out a lot of music.
because remember between 2000 and 2002, Jay-Z was killing it at that time.
Right.
Between him and M were
Him,
basically-
MDMX,
Yeah, him, M, DMX.
Charo,
Yeah,
Nelly.
yeah, Nelly. They were killing it, and then 50 got
And
signed.
they created the illusion or the perception that Rockefeller was this hugely successful
Yeah.
label. In reality, the only
The only
person
person-
really moving units on there was Jay.
Was Jay-Z because he was consistent, because he was
Yeah.
dropping albums.
And then you had other guys going gold and things like that, but moving serious units was actually only Jay. You had Beanie Siegel in the state property movement, you had Bleak, you had Dubset was on there as well, but realistically speaking, they created an image and they sold an image of something that wasn't necessarily
Yeah.
factual.
So I just want to ask something, right?
Mm.
You know, when I was younger in school, I was still in school, right? And I saw Memphis Bleak. I actually thought he was, which Keenan is Kial or Keenan from Keenan and Kel? The funny one, that one.
Keenan. No,
Ke-
Kel. The one who
Kel.
loves orange soda.
Yeah,
Kel.
yeah. So me at
The younger audience, you won't understand what
yeah,
you're speaking
at
about.
the point in time, I thought Memphis Bleak was Kial. Like he's rapping. You must remember I was small. I just started.
I remember him saying on a Drink Champs interview what the Memphis stands for in the Memphis Bleak. I forgot what it is now.
Yeah. Okay, but anyway, his debut album was in '99. Talk about now Memphis Bleak first, right? And then he was basically the right hand man for Jay-Z. No? Yeah, and basically he released 4 albums under him.
I think they all went gold. Though.
Yeah, but like I said, the statement that
Jay
Jay-Z
made it
they
about
need to
50
flood
Cent one.
the 50 Cent one.
Let's
flooding.
clarify the statement that he made because I don't think we said what he said.
Okay. He basically said, please, guys, you need to. You're sitting in the studio. You need to drop. You need to work and push and bring music out now.
Put out a lot of
Put a lot of
flood
music now, flood the game with
because 50
music
Cent is coming.
because 50 Cent is coming. And I think on their part they were, but they didn't take his warning to head.
Yeah, because there was another interview with Guru, who basically did a lot of Jay's engineering.
Yeah.
You hear him on a lot of tracks say shout out Guru, young Guru on a
Yeah,
few records.
yeah.
Bring in the flutes, Guru, on
Yeah.
a few of them. So he was actually speaking about why Jay could see 50 Cent coming was because of his ability to write hooks
Yeah.
and create melody. And this is before
50
melodies were a thing.
Yeah.
Right? So he knew that those records were gonna move just based on his hook writing.
Yeah, and also
And he knew he was
and-
signed to M at that
and
point,
he
M
knew
and
the
Dre,
signed to M and Dre, and he knew already from the Wankster song on the 8 Mile soundtrack,
Mhm.
right? That pushed 50 a bit more, apart from his mixtapes, because remember at the time 50 was doing the mixtapes.
But on Rockefeller, you got to think about all of them, right? It's not just Bleak.
No, yeah,
It's
no,
not
no,
Siegel.
yeah,
It's the whole state
Yeah.
property, because there was a whole lot of, push behind that movement at that point in time. Emil, there was a lady signed
Yeah.
called Emil. She was on a few big joints.
but I'm just mentioning.
Those two specifically, because they were
They
two
yeah,
original.
yeah. So I'm
Rockefellers.
mentioning Memphis Bleak and Benny Siegel because at that specific time, if you looked at Rockefeller, you looked at Jay-Z, you looked at Memphis Bleak, you looked at Benny Siegel.
More Benny Siegel than Memphis Bleak.
Yeah, right. But anyway, Memphis Bleak, what he's doing now is currently happily married, and he's working with Deuce, the cognac brand. To say sorry. Right, the cognac brand that Jay-Z partially owns, right? And he's still running Warehouse Music Group.
Yeah, that boy that's in prison now, Casanova, that had a few joints were signed to him.
Yeah, and then Benny Siegel also, like you spoke, is he had a state property, and later on, he was in between the beef with Jay-Z and Dame Dash.
Yeah,
Right?
because he went with Dame Dash.
Yeah, and then later he signed to G-Unit Records.
Didn't officially sign to Giga.
Huh?
Didn't officially sign to Giga.
He didn't officially sign.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then he had some various legal issues, jail time, and then
He had a problem with his voice as well, so he couldn't really come back. His ability to be an listen, I want to be clear with this. Memphis, sorry, Benny Siegel is one of the nicest MCs to touch a mic.
yeah, in 2014 he lost a lung.
Yeah.
That's
So
what
his ability to still write good raps was still there, but the ability to perform it, he wasn't able to do that anymore, obviously because of losing a lung.
Yeah. So he put out a album called Loyalty Deceit LP in 2019, but now it's been mainly low key.
Yeah. For those of you that liked our beef, when we did all the different beefs, check out Benny Siegel and Jadakiss. It's two of the nicest MCs ever, and they went head to head. So there's some good music that came out of there.
Right. Yeah. When we know about One Hit Wonder, when you spoke about the One Hit Wonder, right? Why I say One Hit Wonder, yes, but he still went indie.
Who's it?
Right. Jake One.
Jake One. I don't know anything besides him besides it. Right?
Besides it, there was a second single. I forgot about it, but I must just try to remember.
For me personally, I would put him
Right.
under One Hit Wonder. And I just want to be clear: when we say One Hit Wonder, it's not necessarily an insult.
Right. While it was that only song Topsy that made him famous, right? He basically disappeared in 2010, like from the music scene.
I think he disappeared straight after that record.
No, I think a year or two he was still. He featured in I'm not sure if it was Get X or the Triple X with P.D. Pablo, which we're gonna speak about P.D. Pablo next. Yeah, it's that Get X with P.D. Pablo, on the Triple X soundtrack. Right. He still releases music, like I said, indie, and that's what he's currently doing. Would you say Kambalyane? People forgot about Kambalyane.
Yeah.
Huh?
Because he had two joints, two or three, like a few.
Yeah. his debut album, Sound of Revenge, with that song, Riding, right? Which features Crazy Bone.
And he had HipHop Police with Slick Rick.
And in 2007, in 2007, the HipHop Police. In 2007, in
But he made a conscious choice to leave the music industry. That wasn't someone that success started basically fading for him. He made a conscious choice to leave it because I think from a business standpoint and from a monetary standpoint, it was a changing of times where, it went to the illegal downloading and things of that nature. So people weren't making money from music anymore, and they never really were.
Yeah.
So from a business standpoint, he didn't see the.
Yeah, he left it. Then he basically he invested in his own modeling company, a car dealership. He became
heavily in
the tech industry, right? Yeah. He also we know about Uber, right? But before Uber there was a thing called Lyft.
Which is still prevalent. Lyft is still around.
Lyft is still around, but like I say, Uber just took over. Yeah. And in 2018 he dropped the Greatest Versus 3 project. 2018. Yeah, he basically, like as you said, he's more now into the business side of things.
Yeah, it didn't make sense to him from a business, from a monetary standpoint, from being in the music industry. And he obviously made money from those 2 albums that he did do what hits on there, and he used that money to parlay it into something else.
Right. Then we're gonna come to the biggest artist that we forgot about. Mace.
That's one, yeah, Mace definitely.
Mace, yeah.
Mace ran the shiny suit era. Mace was the face of the shiny suit era. Mace wrote a lot of the stuff for the shiny suit era.
Yeah.
Mace had a highly successful album.
Problem
with Mace is that he tried to leave, come back, leave, come back, leave, come back, and he was never able to rekindle that. And yeah, I agree with Mace.
Yeah. So 97, 98, he released Adam World. That's the debut album. That's the album where you said
all the hits come from,
right? His second
and
album.
He wrote a lot of Puff's album, and it was all over Puff's album, which was also extremely successful album.
Right.
R&B joints.
Right. So then in 99 he releases Double Up. After releasing Double Up, it didn't sell as much as his first one. And then after that he announces he announced that he's retiring from hip hop
to become a pastor.
Becomes a pastor. In 2004 he returns back to music.
Signs to G-Unit.
First he signs to he has a call it welcome back. Right before signing to G-Unit, and then after that he signs to G-Unit. You told me the story about what 50 wanted.
Yeah, and him signing to G-Unit never materialized because Puff never really let him go.
Yeah, and then what happened? What 50 said he wanted?
Well, because Mace had turned the pastor, so he thought he was gonna get type of Jesus Walk type of music from him.
Yeah.
Obviously, because you're a pastor now.
Yeah.
But if anyone who really knows Mace, Mace came out with the persona before he blew up as Murder Mace. And that's, you can't go become a pastor and then come back as Murder Mace. And that's what he got basically.
Yeah. He leaves again, he disappears for a while, and then in 2009 he comes back.
He just kept on wanting to make welcome back.
Yeah, so in 2009 his first in 2009 he features on a street remix song for Drake's Best I Ever Had. Right? He mentions that he states that Michael Jackson's death influenced him to make a comeback.
He makes excuses every time because a few years ago he just came after this Cam took a shot at him. He came back, destroyed Cam for the record, and then disappeared again.
Yeah. He was just speaking. Yeah, he did have a beef with Cameron. Yeah, and basically now recently he is basically him and Diddy. Or
over royalties and publishing and things like that.
Yeah.
Who else you got besides Mace?
Mace. I spoke about P.D. Pablo, ne?
You mentioned it.
I mentioned it, yeah. Yeah, P.D. Pablo also. With the song, he came out with Ying Yang Twins? Not the Ying Yang Twins, Lil Jon.
Freak League, yeah.
Freak League, right? So how that song Freak League of P.D. Pablo, right?
Mm-hmm.
What that beat coincides with, if you listen to Yeah of Asha, right? And if you listen to Freak League, you put it together. You play it, you can hear the similarities, right? Right? The reason being is that beat of Asha's Yeah, the beat is originally P.D. Pablo's beat, but what happened is
made for him.
It was made for him, right? It was made for him. So what happened is Asha wanted a beat from Lil Jon, right? Lil Jon was supposed to send him another beat for Yeah, but by mistake he sent P.D. Pablo's beat, and now there was a problem. P.D. Pablo had a beat and Asha had a beat. Asha wanted it, P.D. Pablo didn't want to let go of it. So Lil Jon just tweaked it,
made a different version for P.D.
Tweaked, no, the Freak League is the original.
Made a different version for Asha.
Made a different version just with the strings and with the he changed just that few things for a track, and then because of that, Lil Jon advised P.D. Pablo, don't use this track for your Freak League, the lyrics, because he heard the lyrics for the Freak League before while they were recording. He said, don't use this beat, let me make a brand new one for you, because that song is not going to hit, you're not going to be successful, right? P.D. Pablo stuck to it and said, no, I'm keeping it. And what happened after that?
It was a smash.
It was a smash. And there was quite a few. He was on Sierra Goodies. He was in the movie Drumline.
Yeah, you know what? I think I spoke to you about this. Back then, you had to differentiate yourself as artists. You couldn't sound like anyone else. Your song couldn't sound like anything else. Everything had to be a major difference. But those were one of the first occurrences, like the time we live in now, where all the music sound the same, and it still works, because those two records were extremely similar.
Yeah.
Same beat. And that was an era where you couldn't do that.
Okay.
That's all you got.
That's basically all I have.
I had Mace. I had Foxy Brown.
Okay.
Go back in. I'm not gonna go too deep into Foxy Brown. We did an episode.
With
in Women's
Queen
Month.
Bees.
Yeah. So just check out. We spoke in depth about Foxy Brown. I had Foxy in there. Who else did I have in there? Trina as well. We spoke about her in that Women's episode.
And
as
what
well.
about Kaya? You know that one. That's
That's more really a one-hit wonder.
That's more hit wonder.
Since you say in one-hit wonders, I would say a lot of people know Joe Budden as a podcaster, but forgot that he actually was an MC and a phenomenal MC at that. And he actually wasn't a one-hit wonder. He had a few more than one hits, I would say, Joe.
Yeah, I know. He had Pump It Up. He had
So reason people he had Fire, he had the record with Lil Wayne, he had Clubbing with Marcus Houston.
Yeah.
And he's one of those people that are speaking about it. Actually, have a core fan base that would.
And apart from that album, like I said, it moved into indie scene. That's what I'm saying. Indie scene. So it's not like basically. You can say you can say one hit wonder, but also rappers that you forgot about.
Yeah, they have a cult like following type.
Another rapper that you forgot about is Nori.
You see, both these guys is in the same space. You not necessarily forgot about them, but people look at them as podcasters and forget about them as rappers.
Yeah.
So you got I was gonna just go into Nori after that, but yeah.
Okay.
Right. I'm not really sure who else. You took.
I can't.
Nice Joe. I know Foxy for a fact.
Yeah.
I don't think Kim was too big for
Dragon also from DMX.
For me, when I was saying the metrics that I started off with, Dragon wasn't really known like that. Like on a mass appeal level, on a mainstream level. So how can you forget about something that people haven't known? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you, me, us, certain people, but I'm saying on a mainstream audience don't know who Dragon is. So how did they forget about them? Trying to think about who else. I've been trying to think about who else for like 2 days now. I've been struggling, and yet we've done this before.
LL Cool J.
No one's forgetting about that.
Nobody's forgetting about it. But they like the young ones weren't really.
Well, I think we covered that in the rappers, actors that people don't know, like him, Ice Cube, Queen Latifah. All of these people were MCs before.
Right. Okay, so that is the unforgettable.
That's what we are.
So, our focus artist for the week, when talking about Christian hip hop, is a female artist called One Day.
One day.
One Day.
What?
One Day.
One day.
Yeah. Right. Her full name is Mutiat Yawande Isola. She's actually a Nigerian American Christian hip hop artist. So she's from Nigeria. She's from Nigeria. She's born in Nigeria and was raised in Austin, Texas. Right. She signed to the Christian hip hop label Rich Records. Right, where she worked as an A&R administrator. Prior to that, she was an independent artist. Right, she worked also as a music journalist. She is the first woman to sign to Rich Records. Her debut EP is called Extended Play. It was released in April 2020, followed by a mini EP called the Decision. Right. Like I said, she's born in Nigeria. She was raised in Austin, Texas. She is fluent in Yoruba, right? Most of her family was Muslim except for her mother, who was Christian. At first, she was not allowed to go to church, and then she started having to get up at 5 to read the Bible to go with her mother to church, right? Then she actually wanted to be a doctor. Despite that she had interest in music, she actually wanted to be a doctor. She became interested in rapping after a biology teacher allowed her to compose a rap about cellular transport. Right? So instead of writing an essay, she made a presentation with a rap. Very unique way of doing things. Right? She rapped at campus events. As a form of Christian of our Christian ministry. She was a member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha. Okay, yeah, I know that sororities.
It's not a sorority. It's what do you call it? Oh yeah, it is a sorority.
Right. Yeah. Then she basically signed to Rich Records, right? Then her debut single on the album is called Blessed Up. And it's actually also it was listed on Michelle Obama's playlist, surprisingly. In March 2020, she announced that forthcoming, like I said, the EP, which is called Exit. So she has only basically one album because, like I said, she only started in 2020 under Rich Records. She has an EP called The Decision. She has a lot of singles. So nowadays, we basically they push out more singles than.
It's a single-driven era, not an album-driven era.
And yeah, that is One Day. So now.
You ready for your favorite?
My favorite
segment.
My favorite segment. Right. Are you gonna do the drum roll? But let me leave it drum roll because I'm gonna say it is this past week in hip hop history. So in November 1996, the Dawn Illuminati is released. That is Tupac's 5th album, which was posthumously released.
Which one?
The Machiavelli Dawn Illuminati.
Oh, okay. I finished what you were saying?
Yeah. So it was under the. I was gonna say it was under the alias Machiavelli. It's the full album's called The Dawn Illuminati, The 7-Day Theory.
Yeah, there's a lot more Tupac music out there floating around. They released like Machiavelli 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Mm.
6, 7, but these weren't official releases. These were like leaked music that got released like through the streets, like mixtapes and that type of thing. So before that album came out. So I think a lot of it music was out before that album actually dropped.
Okay. November 2015, Talib Kweli and the Ninth Wonder released their collaborative album Indie 500. Cassidy released his third album Bars.
Artists you forgot about Cassidy.
November 2007.
We forgot about him to put him in that segment.
Yeah,
clearly.
we forgot. November 2001, the Wash soundtrack is released.
The Wash was a movie with Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, a few other people. Funny movie, check it out.
Right. November 2007, Jay-Z releases American Gangster. It is his 10th album. Not
it's
the soundtrack.
supposedly inspired by the movie.
Inspired by the movie,
Gangster,
it's not
the
the
soundtrack for the movie.
Yeah. November 2001, PD Pablo releases Diary of a Sinner. Alright. November 95, Goody Mob releases their debut album, Soul Food. CeeLo Green.
I was about to get into it,
yeah. Okay.
No, I was just wanted to say those who don't know Goody Mob, that's where CeeLo comes from.
Okay. November 1995, Coolio releases Gangsta's Paradise, that is his second album. November 8, 1971, Tech 9 was born. November 2005, Get Rich or Die Trying, the soundtrack was released.
Yeah, there's a lot of hits on there that people actually think is on Get Rich or Die Trying. It's not, it's on the soundtrack.
It's on the soundtrack. Lloyd Banks releases The Cold Corner in 2011, November.
You could have put him on the artist you forgot about as well.
Release that is it's a mixtape, you can say album.
There's no real difference anymore.
Yeah. November 2002, 8 Mile is released in theaters.
Artist you forgot about? Eminem.
You cannot
Ari won't let you forget about
You cannot forget about Eminem because I make sure
yes, Ari
he's
won't
remembered.
let you forget about
Yeah.
He will uphold his legacy.
Uphold his legacy, yeah. November 1963, Eric B was born. November 1978, Shine was born. Another rapper that we forgot about.
Shine wasn't
Shine.
ready. Shine never
He
had
made
an opportunity to blow up.
Yeah, but he had
before.
an album, but he didn't have the opportunity because of the incident.
Mm.
November 2011, 8 November 2011, Heavy D passes away. November 9th, Pepper from Salt and Pepper was born.
Just on the Heavy D thing, we could have even put him on rappers turn actors. Heavy D was in a lot of movies.
Yeah. November 2009, 50 Cent releases Before I Self-Destruct. That is his fourth album. November 2004, Fabulous releases Real Talk. That is his third album. Okay. November 9th, 2004, Charul releases his sixth album, RULE. The main track on there is New York.
Oh, New York.
November 9th, 1970, Scarface was born.
Not the movie Scarface, the rapper Scarface.
And in this week, we spoke about Joe Biden, right? This is something that we do, right? We bring out the history in hip hop, right? He basically stated that he hates people speaking about the history of hip hop, letting people know about hip hop.
Why would he say that? Because he himself does that.
Yeah, he says he hates hip hop historian dates. So basically,
I think people must construe what he said. He said he hates people calling themselves hip hop historians.
No.
Like LeBron James and a few other people call themselves hip hop historians, but don't really know what they're talking about sometimes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that's the way I took it. Like,
yeah, because I know which episode you're talking about. Because I do watch his podcast.
Yeah.
Or listen to his podcast, whatever.
November 1993, A Tribe Called Quest releases Midnight Marauders. That's their third album. November 93 as well, Wu-Tang Clan releases Enter the Wu-Tang. That's their debut album. November 10th, Eve was born.
Eve could go in rappers, then actors, and maybe artists you forgot about.
Yeah. November, DJ Spinbed passes away in 2020. 10th November 2020, DJ Spinbed passes away. November 1998, TQ releases They Never Saw Me Coming. That is his debut album. That's a song with West Side. The album with West Side. November 1970, the 10th November 1970, Warren G was born. You all know Warren G. November 96, Yaki Gaddafi was gunned down.
Tupac's one of the outlaws and
Yeah,
close associate of Tupac.
10th November 1971, Big Pun was born. Right, November 11th, 2014, Big Bang Hank passes away. That's a member of the Sugar Hill Gang.
We've spoken
about
extensively about them.
November 1997, Timbaland and Magoo releases their debut album.
What's your surname?
Huh?
What's your surname?
My surname?
Yes.
Magoo.
So you released the album with Timbaland?
No, this guy stole my surname. It's not his real name. Alright. And new news. Future history, but it is history because he's a legendary artist. Nas releases King's Disease
3 yesterday. Well, for the listeners, it would have been last week. I'm gonna interject at this point. Artists this late in their career, 49, on the verge of 50 years old, having an unprecedented late run in their career like this. King's Disease 1, 2, Magic, and 3, all phenomenal albums, all critically acclaimed. He won a Grammy for the first one, and that's all happened in the last 2.5 years. So it's I just, obviously the album just came out, so I haven't had an opportunity to really sit with it as yet. So I don't like to review or give my opinion on things until I've had some time to live with it. But so far I've been enjoying it. Just want to interject and get you with that part.
Yes. Okay. So that's what that. So in closing, I'm gonna give you a closing. Our closing verse is Philippians 4. Philippians 4 verse 13. I can endure all things through the power of the one who gives me strength. Right. And we're gonna close off with 2 songs basically, which is One Day Big God and Kenton Jones God. And remember, this is the turntable where we keep you learned and get you turned.